And so I'd first of all ask Dr. Emer Begley on behalf of the Disability Federation of Ireland.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and members of the committee for the invitation to appear before you this morning. I'm joined by my colleague Charlotte, who's DFI's Policy and Advocacy Officer. DFI is a civil society and pan-disability federation of over 100 organisations who work at a national, regional and local level. And the extent of implications and impact of the rapid advancements in AI are still being understood. We recently met with our members and heard of its potential benefits for the disability community, including levelling the playing field for inclusive education and employment and supporting independent living. Voice-to-text technology and geographical accessible maps for wheelchair users were identified as positive advancements. Other AI has the potential to support greater efficiencies and reduce costs for voluntary organisations. However, the rapid evolution of AI also has the potential to leave people behind and put people at risk. If these significant risks are not understood and corrected, they will create new and additional structural barriers, promoting discrimination and deepening existing inequalities and disability exclusion. Rather, AI should serve as a tool to empower people to live independent lives on an equal basis with others. To firstly note that the EU AI Act aligns with the UN CRPD, the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, of which Ireland is a state party. Any national policies, legislation or leadership Ireland shows in the life cycle of AI-enabled systems must be framed around the protection of fundamental rights of all people in Ireland, including those enshrined in the Convention. Members of DFI have questions and concerns about the use of AI-enabled systems and their applications. For instance, those systems trained on biased datasets which fail to take account of the breadth of diversity in our population. The EU AI Act lists several high-risk AI systems across employment, education, healthcare, housing and financial applications. The associated risks are exacerbated by the lack of data to inform the evidence base. In employment and recruitment, for instance, AI poses the risk of worsening Ireland's disability employment gap, which is one of the highest in the EU at 38.2 percentage points compared to the EU average of 24. The right to equality and non-discrimination, as per the UN Convention, requires countries to abolish all forms of disability-based discrimination, ensuring provisions for reasonable accommodations and equal and effective protections for disabled people. In addition, the EU AI Act obliges EU member states to conduct fundamental rights audits in partnership with disabled people on AI systems to assess their inclusivity. In a rush to embrace AI, government must not forget that it is bound by public sector duty, where any new policies or actions must be considered in this light. The EU AI Act also aligns with the principles of universal design, and our colleagues from NDA will speak more eloquently to that, I'm sure, but the prioritisation of AI co-creation with disabled people in the development process will support Ireland's fulfilment of its obligations under Article 16 of the Convention. DFI welcomes the step to establish a national AI office by August 2026, and we recommend prioritising disability within this office to ensure the disability perspective is mainstreamed in all national AI development. Affordability was a key concern for our members when we spoke to them. We heard of the expense of AI innovation which support independent living. To ensure equal benefit and access, AI systems must be affordable and the financial burden not placed on individuals. This is particularly important considering the extra cost of disability. The ESRI earlier this year estimates that households where there is a disabled person have between 488 and 555 additional costs per euro costs per week, with lower average incomes experienced by disabled households and higher average expenditure compared to others. Knowledge of AI systems and their applications are also a key concern on how data is used and collected and the implications of its use. A response to this is a focus on AI literacy, and accessible training on AI must be prioritised to enhance digital skills for disabled people and the disability community to mitigate against the risk of furthering their digital exclusion. Also to enhance informed decision making and the ability to undertake personal risk-benefit analysis. Intersectionality as well was a key concern, and government have a duty to regulate companies, especially when it comes to developing AI. All actions related to its development includes development of codes of conduct, must embed intersectionality as a core guiding principle. The multiple and intersecting identities of minority groups most at risk of AI bias and discrimination are protected. For example, integrate disability and gender inclusive data into AI development and establish regulatory safeguards to prevent algorithmic discrimination. DFI is a civil society organisation, and we note the large energy demands for training and running machines and for the disposal of specialist hardware used in AI. While AI can also be used to combat climate change, its growing carbon footprint raises significant sustainability concerns, which should be considered alongside the its social implications. So just in conclusion, while AI has the potential to support independent living, participation and active citizenship for the disability community, it is only if the inherent biases of AI systems are identified and corrected, if the diversity of lived experience of disability is acknowledged and addressed with the primary focus on co-design and co-creation, if the cost burden of AI systems and enabled technologies do not fall on individuals, and there are strong regulatory systems in place with accessible and freely available information on AI to increase awareness and understanding. Thank you for your time this morning, and we will be happy to answer questions.